In 2019, electric cars made up only 4% of the market in Europe. Over the last 2 months, they made up 23%. Now, honestly, I was very heavily criticized by a number of different subscribers to my channel in the early days. People saying electric cars will never double in size. You're crazy. It's not going to happen that way. 4% to 23% in 2 years. And I think that figure is only going to increase in November and December. Well, there you have it. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. You're watching The Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans, and I call myself Nostradamus. No, I don't. There's lots of people predicting exactly what I'm saying. Heaps of people have been reading this everywhere. So I'm certainly not alone in making these predictions. And I certainly did not predict that we'd go from 4% in Europe to 23% in the space of 2 years. This is way quicker than what I thought it would happen. I thought we'd see continual doublings. That's what I've been saying, continual doublings. But I mean, hey, if it only doubles, next year, if it only doubles versus what it's been over the past 2 months in Europe, if it only doubles, that's 46% of the market goes all electric. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it sounds insane, but if we've gone from 6% to 23% in only 2 years, where will we be in another 2 years? Now, the other good news here, guys, the other great news here is that internal combustion engine car sales were down 30% year over year. Now, take that, internal combustion engines. I'm sick of smelling your exhaust in traffic. I'm sick of breathing in those fumes, knowing that they do cause cancer. Yes, they do. Even if you love those cars, sorry, they do cause you cancer. Might as well smoke a cigarette. Seriously, you might as well. What's the difference? Well, one difference is drive a diesel car in particular. They're the worst. And it's an older one as well. They're even worse. Well, you're not just killing yourself, you're killing everyone around you. And sure, you might not kill them today. It's the same as cigarettes. You don't die from just one cigarette from one day, do you? But it certainly has a big effect over the course of 30 years. I made an interesting video about this fact. It's not alternative facts, it's facts. Look at fire stations. Look at what goes on there. Look at the life expectancy of people who have worked at a fire station for 30 years and been breathing in the diesel fumes from the trucks in the station. 15 years is removed from their lives on average. 15 years. My sister even did a PhD on it. It's insane. Now, Mark Kane reports for Inside EVs that the European automotive market is struggling more and more with the ongoing semiconductor shortage and a lack of new cars at dealerships. And interestingly, EVs are not struggling, just ICE. Passenger car registrations in Europe, 26 European markets, monitored by JATO Dynamics, decreased by 30% year over year to 790,652 in October. The year-to-date result of 9.85 million is now only 2.6% above the 2020 level. Meanwhile, plug-in electric cars are selling extremely well. A total of 181,300 new plug-ins were registered last month, which is enough for 23% of the market, which is a new record, but only about the same number as what was in September, which was also around about 23%. Now, for reference, what I said before at the start of this video was wrong. It was only 4% in 2019 compared to the 23% we just saw for the last 2 months. And I'm sure we'll see a similar number, if not more, in the months of November and December. Now, the EV segment is continuing its upward trajectory. Diesel vehicles, though, are struggling to gain traction in Europe, with market share dropping to just 19%. Diesels were all the rage in Europe, seriously, only a few years ago. They were so popular. And one key thing has punished them. Well, obviously, there has been significant changes to European emissions rules, which has prevented companies from selling diesel vehicles. But, I mean, Dieselgate, for freak's sake, it's still going. Mercedes has just been caught for cheating on having 11 different cheating devices in their current cars, their diesel vehicles. Still going. Basically, it's impossible to sell a clean diesel. They were marketed for years, clean diesels, you can get a clean diesel. Our diesel cars don't have any emissions that will kill you. They don't have any emissions, they're clean. It was all a lie, obviously. Now we know that. Now diesels are not all that popular in Europe, and for good reason. JATO Dynamics notes that the shortages directly affect the market as manufacturers are switching to produce and sell the most profitable models, usually large SUVs. And plug-ins, important also from the standpoint of emissions requirements. Now, I'm not usually personally a fan of having lots of government intervention, but in this case, I agree. Government intervention should prevent people from killing other people. I know this sounds dramatic, but it is true. If you sit in traffic and everyone around you is driving a diesel vehicle, you're much more likely to eventually get cancer. And we don't want that. So in this case, having these European emissions rules definitely is a good idea and is helping the market. Now, not all manufacturers are affected by the shortage of semiconductor chips equally. And it appears that the Volkswagen Group has been hit pretty hard. They're down 42% year over year and outsold by Stellantis. Now, last month, Volkswagen recorded a 42% decline in volume with double-digit drops in all countries except Ireland. Its compact and mid-sized cars were the most severely affected segments. According to JTO Dynamics data, last month was the second time this century that Volkswagen Group fell out of the leadership position for monthly registrations ranking by OEMs. This marks the first time since its formation earlier this year that Stellantis has outsold the German manufacturer. Personally, I think Volkswagen are actually in position. They're in a situation where they are trying to do what BYD has done over the last 12 months, which is transition to selling more electric vehicles. And that's not easy to do. But that said, I really hope that the board and the other power brokers of Volkswagen, the unions there as well, don't keep trying to fire Herbert Diess because they need the guy. He is a legend. Seriously. I'll put some links in the description below the videos I've made about Herbert Diess. If you don't know about this guy, you need to know about him. The top 10 best-selling models in Europe. Let's take a look at the top models in the BEV and FEV categories. October was not as spectacular a month as some of the other recent months, but some of the results are very interesting. Remember, Tesla's vehicles usually are pretty low sellers in the month because they ship the vehicles at the start of the quarter, so they ship them in October. They don't arrive until November, December, usually December. So they don't arrive until the end of the quarter. First of all, the Renault Zoe, one of the oldest electric cars on the market, was number one with 6,438 units, despite a significant 35% drop year over year. Now, I find this crazy, right? It's insane. People are buying the Renault Zoe. It's not a very good electric car. It's just not. I mean, have a look at the BYD EA1 Dolphin videos that I've made. You can see there that vehicle is way cheaper than the Renault Zoe. It's literally half the price, and it's way better. So in a few years, that's the situation you're going to be in Europe, and that's why Herbert Diess, CEO of Volkswagen, is saying, yeah, our competitors are Tesla and China, because you're going to be able to buy these EVs, and no one in their right mind is going to buy a Renault Zoe when they can get an EA1 Dolphin or similar cars that are also in China for prices that are less than half the cost. Now, even if there is, Chinese manufacturers have to add on some costs for shipping parts and products to be assembled in Europe or for shipping the cars to Europe, even then, if you just add on 20%, the cars are still way cheaper and significantly better. Now, the Zoe's result was enough to outsell the Volkswagen ID3, which at 5,500 units was down 47% year over year compared to its first full month on the market. But there is a reason for that. Volkswagen has had some big supply issues as its main MEB EV plant in Zwickau, as well as a smaller Dresden plant, have been halted for an entire week. There's definitely been issues there with semiconductor chips for Volkswagen. I don't really know why. This seems to be only affecting Volkswagen because look at all the other electric car manufacturers. They're all doing extremely well. Their sales figures are almost across the board all up significantly. But anyway, meanwhile, the Dacia Spring, made in China, is selling like hotcakes. Isn't that interesting? It was third in October with 5,277 units and 40,000 units total were ordered. It seems that Europe is hungry for entry-level EVs as affordable as possible, as soon as possible. Which is what I've been saying about Chinese electric cars coming to Europe and dominating the market. In October, once again, the Skoda Enyaq was above Volkswagen. It had 5,200, above the ID4, which had 4,800. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 with 3,300 into the top 10 for the first time at number 9. I think it could potentially be in number 1 if Hyundai actually decided to make enough of them, but they just aren't that interested, unfortunately. Hyundai, please watch these videos. We need more of the Ioniq 5. It just won the German Car of the Year. They want the car there. Make them, sell them, make more. Do it. Among plug-in hybrids, the Ford Kuga PHEV, Ford Escape PHEV in the US remains number 1. Well done, Ford. But the Peugeot 3008 PHEV was very close to it in sales in October. Now, in spite of my slight criticism of Volkswagen, I do like what they're doing with electric cars, and I believe they are planning to succeed in that area. In fact, I made a video about my predictions for 2030. They're one of the automakers that are going to be in the top 3. Now, Volkswagen is outperforming compared to the competition. Legacy Auto, not compared to the competition in terms of Tesla and China though. A quarter of the total European market is still in their hands, and that's pretty impressive and far ahead of their nearest rival. Now, realistically, dominating the EV market is more important than keeping market share in the ever-shrinking old fossil car market. It does not take a genius to see that that is what is important, as that is where the future is going. Thank you for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.